and another $2 million on legal fees, Odyssey was ordered by the court to hand the treasure over to Spain. Spinning a web of gold and intrigue, once again, gold's spell proved enduring. Gold taken by Spain 2 centuries earlier was returned to the plunderer. Coming up next, Odyssey goes on the hunt again, this time for an English treasure ship sent to the bottom by a German U-boat. A treasure hunt with Wall Street rules.
The shipwreck has to be worth at least $50 million for us to go ahead and invest in the project.
Searching for gold in the 21st century is an expensive operation. Undaunted by their earlier loss, Odyssey Marine plunges ahead on another wreck. It's a treasure ship 3 miles down off the coast of Ireland, a wreck that meets the stringent criteria laid down by Odyssey's Mark Gordon.
The shipwreck has to be worth at least $50 million for us to go ahead and invest in the project, because it's very expensive.
After making a deal with the UK to split the proceeds, Odyssey is pulling up tons of precious metal from a merchant steamer called the Gersoppa. On the 17th of February, 1941, the Gersoppa is carrying a cargo of silver bullion to fill a desperate coin shortage in wartime England. En route from India, she is attached to convoy SL-65. Running low on fuel, the ship slows down to 5 knots and leaves the safety of the convoy. She is hoping to make a run to Ireland's Galway Bay, 300 miles to the south. The Gersoppa is spotted by a German Focke-Wulf patrol plane. He radios her location to U-101. Commanded by Ernst Mergensen, the U-boat finds the Gersoppa. He fires a single torpedo, which blows a hole in her starboard side. She sinks in 20 minutes. Only the captain survives.
There were a lot of valuable cargoes moving during wartime. Ships carrying gold and silver because they had to pay for munitions, pay for supplies, pay the troops.
One of the best-kept secrets of the Second World War was the role played by the gold of England. In 1940, England now stands alone. The War Cabinet meets in this London bunker with the knowledge that France is in the hands of the Nazis and America is remaining steadfastly neutral. With the Nazi invasion that could come at any time, Churchill issues a secret order. To keep it out of Hitler's hands, all of England's gold must be dispatched across the North Atlantic to refuge in Canada. Historian Duncan McDowell.
Britain wants gold not only in its own pocket in England, but it wants it stored offshore in case, worst case scenario, Hitler comes across the channel. Churchill and the government has to leave and they have to run a government in exile. They want money to do that.
Tied to the London docks sits HMS Belfast. It's a sister ship to the cruiser Emerald, selected for the dangerous task of transporting England's fortune. In the early summer of 1940, the first shipment is loaded aboard the Emerald. The gold is crated in small boxes, 2,229 of them, with a market value today of $9.9 billion.
The British realized it might look like their government was panicking, was preparing for the absolute worst outcome. So the British keep it very hush-hush.
The operation codename chosen is deceptively simple: Operation Fish. On the 23rd of June, 1940, the Emerald puts out to sea. Destination, Halifax, Nova Scotia. British coastal waters are especially dangerous. The Emerald is given a heavy escort for the first stage of the voyage. Then the cruiser is hit by a savage North Atlantic storm. It almost capsizes. On the 1st of July, 1940, the solitary warship carrying the secret cargo docks safely in Halifax. The small crates of gold, labeled simply Fish, are unloaded under military guard and put aboard a secret train bound for Montreal and Ottawa. In Ottawa, the gold is stored in the vaults of the Bank of Canada. In Montreal, the precious cargo is put in the vaults of the Sun Life Building, then the biggest building in the Commonwealth. There would be many similar voyages, but for the duration of the war, not a word leaks out. Meanwhile, from Holland in the west to Romania in the east, Hitler is filling his war chest with 600 tons of looted gold. The stolen gold buys oil and armaments from neutral countries like Sweden and Switzerland. Britain counters by shipping gold bars from Canada to the US to buy weapons and warships. The law enabling the sale by neutral America is called cash and carry.
The war, however grimly it turned out, was a huge kind of jolt to all the economies. And America, since it had stayed neutral, yes, could benefit from this surge of British purchasing.
Orders expected to reach $1 billion for over 7,000 pursuit ships and bombers will mean jobs for additional thousands of skilled workers and a tremendous boom to the nation as a whole.
While the gold of England helps lift America out of the Great Depression, the gold of France sits on the sidelines when it is desperately needed. Churchill asks France to release their gold to help England's war effort, which includes the liberation of France. The leader of the Free French, Charles de Gaulle, refuses. He says France needs the gold to rebuild after the war.
Britain is in a really devilish position after the war, having used up their gold during the war. The French have a kind of bounty waiting for them at the end of the war.
But the French also have a shameful secret to confront at the end of the war: the Holocaust and the secret role of gold. In Paris, this is a memorial to 73,000 French Jews rounded up by French police and deported to the Nazi death camps. Like thousands of Holocaust victims, many had deposited their savings in gold into safe Swiss banks, or so they thought. After the war, when families tried to claim their gold, the Swiss bankers demanded death certificates or other impossible proofs of ownership.
That was the greatest revelation of the Nazi gold thing, that the Swiss suffered from this. They would no longer be that nation of upright bankers and chocolate makers, you know, that they were as morally tainted by World War II as the rest of us were.
An international investigation revealed that some of the gold came from Nazi extermination camps, pried from the teeth and fingers of the victims, then melted down and recast by the Nazis. It's called Totengold, death gold. In 2012, in one of the war's more macabre revelations, it was found that Hitler's personal dentist used Totengold to fill the Führer's teeth. But most of the gold went to Switzerland.
We now know in World War II that some of the Swiss bankers facilitated this laundering of gold right down to working with the foundries to refine it, restamp it so that it could be laundered into the European economy.
In modern times, profiteering has risen to another level. The gains are now counted in the thousands of billions of dollars. Following the financial collapse of 2008, international banks have been mired in scandal. Several banks are under investigation for secretly manipulating international interest rates, costing consumers billions. HSBC, the Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank, paid a $1.9 billion fine for laundering money for a Mexican drug cartel. So it comes as no surprise that in the world of precious metals, a prominent Wall Street bank was caught cheating customers. Lawyer Samuel Sporn led the class action suit.
I was approached about 7 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Silverblatt, who had silver bullion, and he wanted delivery. He was dealing with Morgan Stanley.
Mr. Silberblatt, along with some 25,000 Morgan Stanley customers, thought they were buying bars of silver. Silver in a vault, allocated or set aside in their name. Similar cases have arisen over gold. To reinforce the impression they were buying silver, they were charged storage fees. But there was no silver being stored. The vault was empty.
Nowhere is it stated in clear, good English language that we are not purchasing actual commodity, gold, silver, or platinum. It's only unallocated, and it's a paper purchase. It's a position you have. You do not own the physical commodity. And then the customer says, my goodness gracious, I've been paying storage fees for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it may be. Why? The client is led to believe that he, she, or it has ownership. So that is the fraud.
The class action suit against Morgan Stanley was settled in favor of those suing before it came to trial. They recouped $4.5 million in storage fees plus interest. Traders in gold and silver speak in tongues. The terms they use make it impossible for most outsiders to decipher what they're doing. Contracts, contangles and coiling, algorithms and spoofs. Just a few of the words to describe actions that can produce staggering profits. Whistleblower Andrew Maguire describes a bank robbery. But in this case, Maguire holds the opinion that the bank is doing the robbing. It's no ordinary bank, it's a bullion bank, an international bank licensed to deal in gold and silver.
We're showing this in silver because it's easier to see. But in gold, gold is the largest commodity market on the planet Earth. And yet, we've got the same thing going on in the virtual world of gold.
Here's how it worked. Traders waited for most of the major markets from Shanghai to London to be closed. But in New York, a gold and silver market called the COMEX was open, and this is where they concentrated their dealing.
This is a virtual world. This is not real physical. There's no numbered bars necessarily behind this. Essentially, you've created electronic gold and electronic silver.
Trading anonymously, the players use what are called algorithmic trading systems to move in and out of the futures markets in the blink of an eye. 400 contracts a second. Each contract represents 5,000 ounces of silver.
Suddenly, someone gets the idea to sell nearly 45,000 contracts.
Such a massive wave of selling immediately drives the price of silver down. Investors, big and small, try to cut their losses and sell as the price drops. Anyone not in the game gets clobbered.
I know people who trade in the hundreds of contracts, who lost, had everything taken out.
Then, without warning, the mysterious seller reverses course and starts buying the electronic silver back. Once again, by massive buying on the electronic exchange, the trader dictates the price, making it go up, and profits massively from the rise. The profit on each contract reaches $80,000. That's $80,000 times 45,000 contracts, $3.6 billion. The mysterious sellers are alleged to be traders for the bullion banks JP Morgan and, to a lesser degree, HSBC.
It is illegal. It's absolutely illegal. Under commodity law, you're not allowed to be dictating the price on the futures market.
When we come back, Mr. Maguire goes to Washington as a whistleblower.
I woke up at 2 o'clock one morning and said, you know what, that's it. I'm going to the regulators. I can't stand this anymore.
In a Hollywood production called Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps,